Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha, Srimad Varavaramunaye Namaha, Srimad Lokarya Mahagurave Namaha. Happy New Year to everyone. New Year brings us all joy, excitement, and above all, hope. We hope to have a new beginning, turn a new page in our life, learn the lessons from the last years, and apply those lessons and aspire to become better people. Today marks the new year per the English calendars. If we go back to our roots, in our motherland, Bharat, the new year is celebrated around the start of summer. The month Chitra or Chaitra in other languages starts the new year. Regardless, when a new year starts, we always hope for better things to happen. It's a fresh start for us. In Tamil, there is a phrase called Parayana Kadidalum Pudiyana Pugudalum. That means the old makes its way for the new. What does this really mean? Old makes its way for the new. Does it mean that everything that is old needs to be shunned and everything that is new needs to be accepted? Not necessarily so. Whether it is old or new, it needs to be evaluated for its own merit. Neither should we hold on to old because it was given by our forefathers, nor should we shun something that is old because it is old. For example, let's consider this. Sri Sri Chinnajiyar Swamiji, His Holiness Sri Tridandi Chinnajiyar Swamiji gives this example. He says, let's consider there is an old well that was dug by our forefathers. It used to provide clean water for a very long time. But now the well provides very hard water and water that is not potable anymore. It is not prudent for us to hold on to that water. We should leave that well behind and should go and seek new sources of water. Similarly, if something is new, it does not mean that we should readily go and grab it. Now, what if there was something that is both new and old at the same time? As contradictory as it may sound, that does exist. Sri Velukudi Krishnan Swami gives this example. He was driving by a textile store and they had a banner advertising themselves as always modern, like the old times. The store was an old store, but they are always carrying the trendy collections, the latest designs. So even though the store may be old, their products are always new. New in trend, new in fashion, and new in design. These, even though are old, we would readily go after such products. We don't shun them just because the store is old. Similarly, we have our Puranas. The Puranas, they may sound like they were composed and written ages ago, centuries, thousands of years ago, and have no relevance to the current life. But if we were to deconstruct the meaning of the word Puranam, it means Pura api nava. That means always old but always fresh, always new. The values and the stories they contain are always of significance to the current day world and to the current day life. Now, next, let's explore some new life in this new year. Come with me and let us consider and learn about 3 forms of new life. The first one is when a new birth happens. That is, let's say a baby is born. When the baby is born, the baby brings a lot of joy to the parents, to the family, to the friends, and the relatives. The baby also often acts as a catalyst for mending and healing strained relationships. That is the obvious. If we were to look beyond the obvious, we will know that the baby has taken its life in this body, in the body of this little cute baby in this birth now. There was never a time when the baby did not exist, though. Sri Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita says this to Arjuna. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatha param. That is, Arjuna is struck with a lot of sorrow. He does not want to kill his own kith and kin. He says, what will I do? What use is all of this kingdom without them? So Krishna tells him, hey, do you think that there was ever a time that you did not exist, or these kings did not exist, or I did not exist? We've all been here forever. He really means the souls that have been here all the time, the jivas. The Paramatma is Krishna himself. The Jivatma and the Paramatma are all eternal. There will never be a time when these kings are going to cease to exist. Even after Arjuna kills them, those Jivatmas are going to exist. That's what Krishna says here. So, a new life, a new birth just means that it's new birth in a new body for this life. That's all. Now, next talk about another taking birth event. This is when a person, specifically a male, undergoes a samskaram. A samskaram means a ritual, a ceremony, a samskaram called upanayanam. Upanayanam means taking closer and opening their eyes to the Brahma Vidya, to the knowledge about the Brahma. The Upanayanam consists of two ceremonies. One is the Yajñopavita Dharanam, which is taking or giving the lad the sacred thread. The next, the most important part of the Upanayanam is a samskaram called Brahmopadesam. In Brahmopadesam, the boy is initiated with the Gayatri mantra. When this happens, after this happens, now the boy is called a Dvija. Dvija means twice born. The first time when he is born to the biological parents is the first time he is born, and the second is when he undergoes this Upanayana Samskaram and Brahmopadesam, when he is considered as born again. He is considered as born again because now he becomes eligible to receive the knowledge of the Vedas and to pursue Brahman. That is why he is called Dvija, or twice born. There are 10 Aarvars in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam. One of those Aarvars is called Thirumarisai Aarvar. Thirumarisai Aarvar says, Andru naan pirandilen, pirandapin marandilen. That is, he says, I was not considered born when I did not have knowledge of the Absolute, knowledge of Sriman Narayana. Now, because of the efforts of Sriman Narayana, Thirumarisai Aarvar gets the knowledge about the Absolute. Then he says, oh, now I have taken birth. Andru naan pirandilen, now that I have received the Brahman Jnanam, I have taken birth. Pirandapin marandilen. Now I am never going to forget my relationship to the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana. This is the second type of birth. The third type of birth is the best of all. That is when an person undergoes surrender at the feet of an Acharya. That is popularly called as Samashrayanam, that is seeking shelter under the Acharya. And when this happens, there are 5 samskarams, pancha samskarams that happen. Those 5 samskarams are Thapaha punraha tatha namaha mantro yagascha panchamaha. The first one is called the thapam. Thapam is to take the embossment or the mudra or the mark of the Shankha and Chakra of Sri Vishnu, Sri Mahavishnu on their arms or the shoulders. Now we all know that we are celebrating the month of Margari, the Queen of Margari, or when we say Margari, we can only think about Goda, about Andal. Andal's father is Periyarvar. Periyarvar composed Tirupallande and another work called Periyarvar Tirumuri. In Tirupallande, Periyarvar talks about taking this mudra. In the 7th Pasuram, he says, Thir Poligindra Senjudar Ari Tigar Tiru Chakkaratin Koyir Poriyale Vottundu Ninne Kudi Kudi Aatsheyinnom. He says to Sriman Narayana, oh, we are serving you generation after generation, Kudi Kudi Aatsheyinnom. And how are we performing this service? We are all together and we have taken the radiant chakra mark. Thir Poligindra Senjudar Ari Tiru Chakkaratin Koyir Poriyale Vottundu. We are all serving you, branded with these marks. And then when he wraps up his work in Periyarvar Tirumuri, he glorifies the Lord Thiruvenkatamudayan. He says, Senniyongu Thanthiruvengadamudayaai Ulagu Thannai Vaழநின்ன நம்பி தாமோதரா சதிரா என்னையும் என் உடமையையும் உன் சக்கரப் பொறி ஒற்றிக் கொண்டு நின்னருளே புரிந்திருந்தேன் இனி என் திருக்குறிப்பே. That is, he says, என்னையும் என் உடைமையும். When he says என்னையும், he means his soul, his atma. And when he says என் உடைமையையும், he means his body. He says, we are taking upon your chakra puri, that is the mark of the mudra of your chakra. This, undergoing this thapa samskaram, brands one as the belonging, as the object, as the asset of Sriman Narayana. The next samskaram is called pundram. That is taking the urdhva pundram. That is the 12 thirumans, the 12 thiruman kapu. They signify the 12 forms of Sri Mahavishnu. The third is called Namam. That is, now that the person is undergoing complete surrender under the lotus feet of an Acharya, he or she is given a new name. The new name given is usually Ramanuja Dasan, that is the servant of Ramanuja. One aspires or pledges to serve Ramanuja and his devotees and his sishyas. The next samskaram is called mantram, mantropadesam. The acharya initiates the sishya with 3 rahasya mantras known as the Tirumantram, Dvayam and Charamaslokam. The 5th samskaram is called yagam. That is, the acharya teaches the sishya, the one undergoing surrender, how to perform the daily worship or Thiru Aradhanam to Sriman Narayana. When these 5 samskarams are completed, the person is starting a new year in his life, a new chapter in his or his life. In summary, we've seen 3 forms of birth. One is the new birth, the physical birth into the body. The second is when a person undergoes Upanayanam, he becomes eligible for the pursuit of Brahma. And the third is when one surrenders to an Acharya and is now given the name Ramanujadasan and pledges to serve Sriman Narayana and his devotees. In this new year, let us also pledge to start a new life, surrendering ourselves to Sriman Narayana through an Acharya and lead us in our service to him. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Aarvar Emperumanar Jiyar Thiruvadigalé Sharanam.